Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got Kirk. What's up, Kirk?
Just sitting around trying to deal with all the stuff we've been dealing with.
So you are the husband of the woman, Eizabeth, who was beaten in the bar in Mississippi.
Well, I'm not truly a husband. I'm her fiance, but we've been together almost 9 years, so you could say we're husband and wife. We fight like sometimes.
How did you get introduced to this club? Where are you from, and how did you even get introduced to the Galloping Goose?
Well, I got introduced through some friends of mine that we all rode together, and then some of them were in it. And this was years ago. And then I started in one of their support clubs that was down here, and I rode in the support club, and then kind of worked my way up like every member does. They work their way up, and then becomes on up to the bigger clubs.
So how long were you in this club for?
Several years, at least 6 years between both of them, 7 maybe. I don't know, somewhere in there.
Now, did you ever have any problems with any of these club members? Was there any fights or anything like that? Was there internal
No,
conflict?
no, never have had any internal conflict, no fights, no nothing, no issues with the club whatsoever.
No issues with your club and your significant other, your woman?
No, not with the club. Her either. And she didn't even know this guy other than what I've introduced him to her before.
So how did you meet this guy, and what were your interactions with him before the situation happened?
Basically just through the club. I met him because he was in a different chapter, and as you were in chapters, you go around from meet all your local chapters first, but then you'll end up going to your nationals and stuff like that, and you end up meeting them all, or they came down here because you have different get-togethers, parties, however you want to put it. And as you come up and being prospects or being in smaller clubs, you get to know them all, and that's part of being a club member.
Was there any signs that things are? Did you ever see them assault women or anything like that in the past?
No, never have.
Tell me about your exit from the club. You're in the club for 6 years, and so what do you go to them and say, I can't do this anymore? Like, walk me through what happened on your
Well,
last
I
date.
exit. Yeah, I exited the club mainly because of several reasons, but it was a lot of personal. I had between 2.5 years, I was in a head-on collision. I was in two motorcycle wrecks, and then I also fell off a building on the third story, putting siding on, landed on the side of a truck in concrete, fractured my hip, and then fractured ribs. So, I mean, it was one of them things that I could not ride. You're required to make certain rides every year, and I'm not able to make them rides because some of them are pretty long rides, and so therefore, not being able to make them rides, it was one of them personal things that I knew that I wasn't gonna try to justify myself in a club that I couldn't do what was required of me.
Yeah, but are there people that don't ride their bikes in the club?
No, pretty much everybody has to ride their bike, and that was a big thing going on that when I got out of, because some people did show up on long distance and wasn't riding, which some of them been around for 20, 30 years, and so it was one of them things. But it is a bike club; it's not a truck club per se. That's why we say it. And so it was a little thing in between the clubs saying, okay, you can get away with it once or twice, but sooner or later they're going to vote you out bad because you stand in something that you can't handle or can't do. And why get voted out bad and you get put out bad when you can just get out.
Yeah, the MC doesn't mean more cars, right?
Right, exactly.
When you want to exit the club, do you go there and tell them, say, listen, I can't make these runs? And do you lay your patch down? Like, how does the process work?
Yeah, basically.
Do you get to keep your patch? Like, well,
No. You don't keep your patch. You give it. I mean, it's club material. Your patch is. Now your cut ain't, but your patch is. So you gotta give your patches back.
oh,
Which
so you don't,
basically
you
on the
don't,
Galloping Goose is a center patch. You may pay for it, but it's only yours by borrowed.
yeah,
Until
you're
you get
renting
out.
it. You're
Right,
renting it.
right. That's it.
So now, did you have love for this club? Like, was this a tight knit group?
I did have love for the club at one time. I thought they had my back. I had their back, as far as, but now I would have never, even as a patch holder, I would have never let that happen. And most of the people that I know would not have let it happen. Uh, Patches, older people, older generations, things change. Uh, I, I've had older people reach out to me and they condone this. They don't agree with it at all, but it is what it is. I mean, one guy can make everybody smell bad, but then you have other ones that don't even know how to step in and do their job, and stop a guy from screwing himself or the club over. He should have been stopped right away. And the other guys, they're all a bunch of cowards to me.
100%. Walk me through when you get the call from her and you find out about this whole situation.
Well, at first I didn't really. When I got the call, she was crying. She hung up, and then her phone was off. And then she went to the hospital. Well, I didn't see her until she got home from the hospital. Well, once I seen her, and she got home, but she didn't get home till the next morning. And when I found out, and I was busy doing other things, and I had my own stuff going on. But that was like her and me. She'll go away and she'll stay with her friends. And she'll come back next night. Well, I didn't talk to her till she had came home. When I seen her when she come home, her whole face on that left side of her face was just swollen out. Her eye was shut, everything. And I said, "What in the happened to you?" And she told me, and I was in disbelief. I was really in just disbelief. And I reached out to him. I said, "What happened?" And I asked him. I said, "What the happened?" A local president. He told me that, oh, he wasn't there. He didn't see none of this happen. And Elizabeth come in and she was poking on his head and they kept telling her to leave, or she spit on him and they kept telling her to get out of here and this and that. And it was all a bunch of lies. It was a total bunch of lies. So I went there to get the video because once I figured out, I want to get a copy of this video and see what really happened. I know what she told me. I know it, and I want to see exactly what caused this because it's in disbelief that he would just automatically do this. It was hard for me to fathom it because I can't see him just jumping up and doing what he did. And I still, to this day, it's hard to fathom that that's what he did. But videos don't lie.
No.
They do not lie. They can say what they want to because I've got these reaching out to me and putting anonymous numbers and everything else, but won't give me their name. And videos don't lie. And if they're a true 1%er, give me your name because I don't really give. And but they want to sit there and justify what they did, and which is bullshit. You can't justify any of this. I don't give a shit who you are. You cannot justify it now. Now you may have been hyped up on your or whatever, and this happened. I don't know, but I do know what happened was not right.
So now this happened a while ago, and she was trying to let them rectify it within.
Well, we never even got a. That's correct. We thought, okay, the club's going to take care of it. Surely the club's going to take care of it. But at this point, we still have not seen the video because we couldn't get a copy of the video. But we were letting I reached out to a couple of the members of the club, told them what happened. Nobody wants to believe it. And then I understand there was a lot of lies in it. And so at this point, I haven't got to see the video. And so, a month goes by before we can actually see the video. We have to go down there.
What about the bartender? Did you ask all
the
them
bartender?
What happened?
Well, the bartender ain't even going to talk to us because that's the president's wife of the local club. That the one sitting there drinking the beer, holding his ass back, is a guy that should have put a stop to all this nonsense right off the bat because he is the local president. He should have never let this happen. And instead, he steps back and lets it happen. And then that's his wife that's a bartender. And then we learned today now, and what are we, a month and a half into this, we learned today that there was a panic button right there for him. So why in the hell the bartender didn't hit the panic button when this fall went down? But I was told by the other guy sitting at that table that he come in when the went down outside. He come in and told them to call the owner and to call the police before this ever got inside. So this could have been prevented long prior to this. When they were supposed to call the cops, they were told to call the cops by a guy when this was outside. Instead, they didn't call the cops then.
did a situation happen before this video emerged? Like, so was there an
No,
altercation outside?
no, there was no. There's before this video arrived, the guy that confronts her has bought us rounds and drinks at places. She did not do nothing. He knew her. And if she would have been there with me, he probably never would have said a word. And the problem is he had something else on his mind that day. And I don't know if he was hopped up on whatever he was hopped up on, but something else was on his mind that day. And he all of a sudden just wanted something to react to. And I don't know what it was that he wanted to react to, but he took it out on a woman.
So what happens when you go down? Tell me about the process of going down and finally seeing this video.
Well, the first process is we contacted the bar owner, Mike, and I said, I'd like to see the video. He said, okay, y'all can come down and I'll let y'all see it. I can't really give you a copy, but you can see it or you can tape it on it. And I said, I need to see the video to see what really can happen. I want to know what really happened. I want to see the video. Okay, you can come. So this is at nighttime at about 6:30 at night. And I want to say it was like a Monday night. And I said, I'm on my way down there now, Mike, because he was leaving. I said, I'll be there within 20, 30 minutes because the bar's 20, 30 minutes from us. So we jump in my truck. She puts on a hoodie and everything because her eyes still swollen shut and all this other stuff, and her face is messed up. So we head to that bar. Well, as soon as I walk in the bar, lo and behold, Mike's sitting at the table in the back where they first started the video at. They're all sitting around a table with two of the gooses, one of them being, and then another guy that was a ex prospect, and he's sitting there with them. So I said, I want to see what, I want to see the video, Mike. Can we go see? He said, well, he wants to talk to you before you see a video. I said, all right. I looked, I said, what you got? What's up? And he says, as Mike went outside with Mojo at this time, he looks at me in the face, square in the face. Don't ask how nobody is, or man, I'm sorry that this happened or anything. His first words, right square out of his mouth, is what's your end game with this? That's what he looks at me and says, what's your end game? Dude, I want to punch him right square between the eyes. I was pissed. And I unleashed on him right there. I was mad. And is everything that held me inside just to keep from freaking hitting him. And he just shut up and he stood back. He didn't want to say nothing else because he knew I was pissed. So I went back outside and I said, Mike, we're gonna see the video. And he said, man, my insurance said that I can't release the video for you to see. He said, I know it seems funny that you walk in here, but they just sent this to me and said I can't release the video. I said, Mike, you gonna tell me it's 7 o'clock at night and you just now get this from your insurance company? I said, I don't believe that, Mike, but okay. If that's the case, that's the case. If you're not gonna let me see it, there ain't nothing I can do about it right now. But I will get the video and we will release it. So when this all come out, right as you get it and everything, is when we finally get the video, because everybody's saying, why is it wait so late? Why is this that? Or that was his old man, her old man. Oh, that's all.
That's what people are saying.
Running.
Yeah, they're like,
they're running their freaking mouth and don't know a thing that's going on. Instead of them looking at the video, they're going to say that's her old man. If it was her old man, which it ain't, because I'm her old man, he still wouldn't have had the right to do that.